Okay, I'm here with Howard Goodwin, MMR, Piedmont Division on the Piedmont Pilgrimage this year. I'm going to let Howard tell you a little bit about his Cypress Lines model railroad here.
The Great Cypress Lines was created in my mind over 30 years ago before I even had the railroad. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to have something that was based in the southeast that would incorporate, at that time when I lived in Florida, but also now the southeast, incorporated in Georgia as well, and other parts of the southeast. The railroad is a single point, double point railroad on each end. It's double-ended, so I have two staging yards, point-to-point operation, single track main line. It is a dead territory. I don't have any signaling other than a dispatcher. Dispatcher controls the railroad. It's more or less a mother may I. We use car cards and train orders. And it takes probably about a dozen people to run the railroad when we're all here doing an operating session. Unfortunately, we haven't had a chance to get over here much lately. So we're all hoping to get together again pretty soon and have another operating session. But it's a fun railroad to operate.
And what DCC system are you operating?
I chose to use Digitrax. I have the basic Chief system, which I've expanded. I also have two boosters, DB150 boosters. I have 7 PM42s, which is also made by Digitrax. And for a time, when I first moved up here, I did work for Digitrax. So I had a good insight into how the systems worked, and because I worked in tech support. So that helped us out a lot.
So I noticed on some of your structures, and I'd like to share with people some of the different names that are on some of the facilities and buildings and things like that.
There are 6 cities on the Great Cypress Lines. They're named after relatives and friends. One for my son Timothy, one for my son Stephen, which is Stevenson, and then one for my son Scott, which is Scottsville. In Scottsville, there's a brewery, a Tunnel Mountain Brewery, which is named in his honor, and his slogan is, "We have the beer with attitude," because he has an attitude. So, and then I have another city called Leeds. Will Leeds was a mentor of mine, master model railroader, now passed, but he was a big influence on my modeling way back in the early years. There's another city called Julian after my dad.
Now, Howard, walking around your railroad, I noticed a little bit, this track looks really special. Tell us a little bit about what you did over here.
Well, this is called Dodge Yard, and this is in honor of my friend Rob Dodge, who helped me build this railroad and spent a lot of time in the very beginning laying out the tracks and everything like that. So I figured the least that I could do was, name some prominent locations for the people who helped. This particular yard is hand-laid Code 83 rail. All the switches are hand-laid. They all function very, very well. I have one section of Code 70 over here for an industry that I have, and that industry is called Confederex Parcel Service. Now, it sounds a little hokey these days, but their slogan is, "We don't care how you do it up north." And that's Confederex. We like it, and we send a lot of shipping on Confederex.
We're here at Howard's turntable. I'm going to let him share a little bit of information about the story behind this turntable.
This was my dad's turntable. We had it on his model railroad, and it's a Lindsay turntable. It's got a metal pan, and everything from the deck up I scratch built on it so that I could get it to fit here and it would work right and it would work with the railroad. It's got Code 83 rail on it, and it was hand laid, and it works by a Switchmaster motor underneath on a DCC decoder, which means that it can be spun around at just about any speed. I don't like to use warp speed, but we like to be able to turn it at a reasonable amount so you can see what's going on, and it looks prototypical. My dad would be smiling from heaven.
It's pretty awesome. Now, we don't get to see a lot of operational turntables. This is really awesome.
Well, this one is what I call an eyeball 360. There's no indexing system in it other than eyeball. So when it comes around, I need to slow it down and hopefully line up the rail. And if I can do that, and it's pretty close, I think. Yep. Let me see if I can go the same way now. Let's see, it's going to be going forward. Yeah, I believe the lead truck is off. Two staging yards. I run the railroad as a point-to-point operation. This yard here to my right is the Ardsley yard, and that's the northern end of the railroad. It has 8 tracks. It was built on 2 foot by 8 foot modules that I slammed on the wall, and works really very good as a staging yard because, let's face it, we never have enough staging, never have enough place to park the trains. So this works out real well. It goes through the wall, behind the water heater, through a hole in the wall, out into the layout. And on the other side, I have another staging yard. It's called Eola. Eola is the southern end of the railroad, and it is only 5 tracks, but it too goes out and into the railroad on a Y. So I can change the location of the position of the locomotives by using the Y. In this particular yard here, I've got a small turntable, which I can accomplish turning locomotives, which also works very well.
Howard, I'd like to say thank you for hosting your home and your railroad as part of the 2020 Piedmont Virtual Piedmont Pilgrimage. And we thank you very much for sharing your railroad and your home to everybody.
Well, thank you for coming by, and I hope we can do this live next year.
Thank you very much. Have a great one.
Thank you.